I've been in communications, not in the typical definition of communications as it is viewed, but in communications now for close to 2 decades, 18 years to be precise. But I've had a very interesting journey doing communications for various kinds of organizations, be it some were corporate, but where the stakeholders were very, very rural in their milieu, some were government, sometimes other industries, sometimes business. And today as a social entrepreneur, I think I deal with all that and more. To me, communications is no different from sales, really. What you're trying to do through this process is to really understand your stakeholder and to turn your solution or your whatever you are trying to sell or whatever you're trying to develop for them, to make it in a way that is useful to the stakeholder, and it's something that the stakeholder can leverage well. In sales trainings, one often talks about, what are the benefits. The most important thing is not the features of the product, but the benefits. So I think communications is really to talk about or understand what the benefits are. Communications today, or at least the platforms that are available for people to reach out to people or to understand an issue, either which way, they're very, very different from the way they used to be. You get immediate feedback in many ways. One, there are many ways in which the communication, which used to be resigned to memory, a few years ago, is all there. Is always there. Look at the internet, or look at you can always go back into history and say, okay, what did somebody say, or how did somebody else solve a problem? It's there for posterity, and this is a market shift in communications. And on one hand, communications can address problems if you just go back into history, try to understand and communicate with stakeholders to try and get their feedback as to what is it that they are facing, an issue. Going back to that same example of water scarcity, you don't need a middle person to tell you what that family every day because of water scarcity faces. There are many platforms that are available where you can get immediate feedback, and you could leverage that to formulate your solution. The social media platforms that can help you disseminate that information and that situation to a larger audience, which was very restrictive earlier. The feedback is more immediate now than it has ever been. It has become very individualistic in many ways. There is no such thing today, and I think most organizations and most communications gurus who would sort of talk about our official verdict or our official statement. I don't think there is any room for any official statements anymore. Because I think communications has become a lot more transparent, a lot more accountable, and I think more effective communications is that is transparent, effective, and has the power to reproduce. Because I've been associated with the IHS and with san-kranti for a while, and I've seen this whole concept. From its initial conceptualization stage. I think what is really significantly different about this, and which also makes me really happy and proud to be a mentor for such a program, is that it's not just a contest. And to me, that's a big thing, for it to be a continuous platform for youth to come and discuss issues and be the change. I think the contest provides a certain time frame which allows youth to identify a certain problem and provide solutions for it, so that one can give examples of how bigger issues can be resolved. Because I do think there is no issue that is unresolved if one sets a mind to it. Because if there are different kinds of people, especially the way this particular contest has been conceived, which calls in for interdisciplinary teams and which calls in for different kinds of thinking to address the same problem. Which is what makes it very, very unique, which is what I think provides a solution to many of the issues that face urban India today. Again, I would like to go back to the premise of this contest and the premise of the platform, to make sure that there is no problem or there is no issue that is seen in its sort of two-dimensional symptomatic way. And if you want to look at it in its entirety, you would find that there are different stakeholders who have different issues, who look at the same problem differently. And I think the most effective communications would be, and this would be my endeavor as a mentor to help students understand and apply it, is to try and create communications that is understandable on one hand by all, and that is impactful for each one of them, not just as an information or a solution that they take which will affect those stakeholders, but also to understand from those stakeholders so that they can actually customize their solution that is relevant on ground and not just something as a superficial theoretical exercise.